Welcome to my YouTube channel. So here today we are going to be looking at the introduction to fungi. So what is fungi? So fungi is a group of eukaryotic organisms that are heterotrophic. So they are a group of organisms, a group of eukaryotes that are heterotrophic. What does this term mean, heterotrophic? Heterotrophic simply means to say it cannot be able to produce its own food, so it has to rely on the other organisms or the surrounding in order to obtain food. So that's how come you will see that fungi is mostly found on very, I would say, dirty environments like damp environments. So that's where they will be obtaining their food like that. So you can see, so this is fungi, this is yeast, so this is also a fungi. Yeast is also a fungi. We are going to dive deeper. Then we have even on food, so it is able to make food stale. So if you can see, this looks like a bun, and it is having this is as a result of the fungi. So now, other things that you need to know about fungi is found in damp. It is found in damp and moist environments. So it is found in dark and moist environments. So that's where fungi is found. So like if you leave your food and if the temperature is warm, fungi will be able to grow. So the examples that we can have here are yeast. So yeast is found in damp and moist environments, as well as mold. So mold is the one that is responsible for making foods to more like roots like that. So that is where most of the fungi is found. Even mushrooms are also found in damp and moist environment. So now the fungi is either multicellular. Fungi is either multicellular, meaning to say it has got a lot of cells, or it can be unicellular. So it can either be multicellular or unicellular, meaning to say just one cell. Then the other thing is that it can either be macroscopic, meaning to say huge. So like for example, if you see this person holding a mushroom, it is huge, so that is macro. So this is macro, that is what we mean by macro. Others are microscopic, so I just don't have the image. So there are others that are microscopic, you cannot even see them properly. So it is either macroscopic or microscopic. So macro means big, so microscopic are big, then microscopic are small. So other characteristics of fungi is that fungi contains chitin. So it contains chitin. So if you recall, so let's move here. So it contains chitin. So chitin is what forms the cell wall of fungi. Chitin contains, this is very important, especially for your multiple choice, a nitrogen containing polysaccharide. Polysaccharides are carbohydrates. So it is so chitin contains a nitrogen containing polysaccharide. So now the other important things that we are looking at under the characteristics, their reproduction can either be sexual or asexual. So asexual reproduction is where there is only one parent involved. Then sexual, they have to exchange the genetic material. So the other characteristics involve the fact that some are harmful. So you may have heard that we have poisonous mushrooms. So some mushrooms are poisonous, and some can cause some can cause ringworms. So if you see that sometimes you will find that someone's, most especially someone's big toe is more like it is rotting. So someone's big toe is rotting. So that is mostly as a result of fungi. So ringworms are as a result of fungi. There are some benefits. Some fungi are edible. So you can eat. Some fungi are edible. Like for example, if you look at this one is edible. So this fungi is very much edible. So this is what we call mushrooms. In our local language, this is what we call uboa. So these can be edible. Others are used in baking and brewing. Like for example, this is our yeast. So our yeast is used in brewing, that is in making beer. And it is also used in baking, as it makes the dough to rise. So it makes, if you're making bread, it will rise. So that is as a result of yeast. So yeast is also a good fungi like that. So most of them, they will clean the environment by decomposing matter. So if, let's say, a material is dead, let's say an animal is dead, it will be able to be decomposed. Let's say if this is an animal, it will be able to be decomposed, or rather cleared out from the environment, thereby cleaning the environment. If things do not rot, you will find that if someone dies, another person dies, there will be the accumulation like that. So the fungi will clean the environment by decomposing materials like that. So all of the fungi are heterotrophic, just as we said, which means that they require nutrients from other sources. They cannot make nutrients by themselves. So their digestion is external digestion, which means that they will release digestive enzymes. They will release digestive enzymes into the environment. So let's say if we have mushrooms here, so what will happen is that these mushrooms will be able to release their enzymes. If it is upright like that, they will be able to release their enzymes. When they release their enzymes, then they will be able to absorb the nutrients after the enzymes have digested them externally. So after that, they will be able to digest whatever is out here. When they digest, then they absorb. So now, another important concept that is very, very important. So we have talked about cleaning the environment, but also another important thing is nutrition recycling. So nutrients are recycled. So recycling is done like that. Then also the other important thing, okay, we are done with that. Now let's introduce terms such as mycorrhiza, which is a very, very important term. Mycorrhiza. So what is mycorrhiza? So mycorrhiza is simply a symbiotic relationship between the fungi and roots of plants. So the symbiotic relationship between fungi and roots of plants. Now in this case, in which both organisms benefit. So both of them will benefit. So this mycorrhiza is further divided into ectomycorrhiza and endomycorrhiza. So endomycorrhiza is called abuscular mycorrhiza. So that's the other name. So what is the difference? So the difference is that endomycorrhiza, the fungus enters the root cells. So the root cells, they enter. That's the meaning of endo. Endo means to enter. So they enter the root cells. Then for ectomycorrhiza, the fungus surrounds the root but do not enter. So that's the definition. So ectomycorrhiza, so they surround the roots but do not enter. So that is basically it, but they do not enter like that. So that is basically what ectomycorrhiza is, whilst we have said that endomycorrhiza or abuscular mycorrhiza. In this one, the fungus or fungi enters the roots. Now let's bring in a diagram, the root cell. So let's say we have a cell here. So all of these black things are fungi. So they are entering like that. So this is what we call endomycorrhiza. Endo or abuscular mycorrhiza. So they are entering like that. As long as they are entering, then it is called endo or abuscular mycorrhiza. Then if we look at this one, so this is the comparison. So this is the comparison. So as you can see, let's say that these are the cells. So these are the cells. You can see that under ectomycorrhiza, it is going around the cells. It is going around the cells like that. But this one, for abuscular mycorrhiza, it is entering. So the cell is here, it is entering inside like that. It is entering inside. So that is what we refer to as the abuscular. Oh, sorry, this is ectomycorrhiza because it is not entering the cells like that. So it is not entering the cells. But if it enters, then it is what we call endomycorrhiza. Likewise, you can tell that this is ecto because it's not entering. Ectomycorrhiza like that. So as you can see here, this is what we mean. So this is the plant cell. So the plant cell, we have the cell entering the plant cell, or should I say the fungi entering the plant cell. Then that is what we call endomycorrhiza. So here is what we have. So it is entering. So this is a cell there. This is a cell. But it is ectomycorrhiza if it is not entering the cell. So that's the main difference. So some fungi are cynocytic, which simply means to say they are non-septate, or rather they have a lot of nucleus but without any divisions or separations. But some are septate. They have septate hyphae. So hyphae are the building blocks of fungi, which when they come together they form Mycelium. So as you can see, these have got separation. So these are septate hyphae. Then we have these ones that do not have the septates. They are not separated. So these are called cynocytic fungi. Then the last term for this video that we want to discuss is just open and closed mitosis. So to simplify things, the word open. What is the meaning of the word open? It means you are breaking down. So under open mitosis, the nucleus breaks down. So the nucleus breaks down. Under closed mitosis, the nucleus does not break down. So that is the main difference. The nucleus does not break down. So if you look here, you will find that this is the nucleus, but it is not intact during the cell division. You will find that the nucleus is broken like that. It is broken, then it reappears like that. Now under closed mitosis, as you can see, this wall is still there. It is the nuclear membrane. It is still there. It is still there until there is separation. So know how you can draw this. So we have closed. You can just think of it as being closed throughout like that until it is divided like that. Then here the nucleus along the way breaks down. As you can see, if I zoom, there are some spaces like that. There are already spaces, meaning indicating that the nucleus has broken down like that. Then we are going to have, finally, they are going to break down into two like that. So that's that for this video. Hope it is helpful. Hope you can like, subscribe, and share for more. See you in the next tutorial.